In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a hover tab using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. A hover tab that looks like this. And this is a hover tab. When you hover around these tabs, it gives you the content here. Okay, home, about, and contact. So we are going to design a hover tab just like this. And to do that quickly, I'll go to our editor and we'll begin by defining our document type. Document type, of course, is HTML. HTML tag. Okay, before we proceed, let's we can go ahead and save this now. Save as. So I'm going to save as hover.html. Okay, so quickly we can create our head tag. I'm defining our meta type. Meta name equal viewport. The content equal width divide width and the initial scale, of course, is 1. Okay, so here we're going to begin our CSS style here. I'll say C style. Okay, box sizing, we'll begin with that. So I will say box sizing border box. Okay, and for the body, I'll simply do this. I want the font family to be Calibra. Okay. Okay, now we're going to style the tab. So create a class for the tab. I'll say tab float left. A border 1 pixel solid, and the color, okay, give me this color. Background color, we want to do this. And for the width, going with 30%. and height. Okay, I'll go with 200 pixel. Okay, so now that we are done with styling the tab, we can now go ahead and style the buttons inside the tab. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to also create a class and I'll call it tab button. And styling this, I'm going to commence with display. This should be block, background color, inherit, font color, should be black. Okay, padding 22 pixel by 17 pixel. Okay, I want the width the width be 100%. No border, border should be none. Outline none. Okay, text align, I want it to be aligned left, so I'm going to align the text align left. Cursor type, okay, I want the pointer type and font size. (16 pixel). Okay, now we are done styling the buttons. Okay, so I'm going to change the background color for changing the color right now for the buttons. When it's hover, I want to give a specific color. Okay, for the buttons. Okay, and I'm also going to define the tab button active color. When a particular tab is active, I need a color to be assigned to it. Okay, so to do that quickly, I'm also going to create a class. I'll create a class and I'm going to call this class tab button over. So I'm going to say dot tab button over. Okay, the background color. Okay, I want the background color here to be okay with this. And quickly, I want to also call create a class for the active tab. To do that, I can quickly copy this. I'm going to paste it here, but this time around not hover, it's going to be active, and I want the color to be orange, so I'm going to take this out. So orange. Okay, so now we're going to style the content, how we want the content to appear in the tabs. When the tabs have been selected, how I want the content to appear. So to do that, I'm going to also create a class and I'll call it tab content. Okay, so I'm going to define the various features. float should be left. I want the padding, okay, 0 pixel by 12 pixel. The border 1 pixel is solid, and I want the color to be this. Okay, for the width, I want it to be 70%. Okay, border left none. Okay, for the height, go with 300 pixel, and display none. Okay, now that we have defined the style for the tab content, I'm going to now go ahead and clear floats after the tab. So each time we leave a particular tab inactive, we're going to clear. Okay, so to do that, we're also going to create a class for this. I'm going to call this clear fix. Okay, clear fix. I'll do this after okay, so I'll say content of course should be empty, and I'll say clear both and display table. Okay, display table. So this brings us to the end of our styling. We're going to end our styling here. Okay, and we have already closed this. Close the styling here. We're also going to close this here. Okay, the head tag is also closed. So we're going to commence with our HTML content. To do that, we're going to say body, create the body tag. Okay, now I'm going to define a header h2, and I'll say over tabs, and just after this we're going to have a paragraph. Okay, this is our tag for paragraph. I'm going to say learn how to create over tabs. Okay, now creating the content proper for the tabs, and also creating the tabs. I'm going to creating containers for them. So I'm going to introduce the div class tab, okay, which have been created already. So quickly I'm going to introduce the first button class equal to okay, the class we are calling is the tab link class. Okay, with an effect on mouse over. Okay, mouse over. Now when the mouse hovers around this particular button, now I want you to do this. Okay, I'm going to say open name. Okay, the event. Okay, and the button proper home. Okay, so I'm going to do this here, and I'll introduce home. and the button is closed here already. Now we're going to also repeat this for all buttons, and to do that, simply I'm going to copy this, okay, and paste it here. The next button is the about button, so I'm going to change this, call it about, and also do the same here, about. Okay, same class. We are done with this. I'll also go to paste here. I'll paste here and I'll call it this is contact already. Also effect, same change here, contact. Okay, so next we are going to also create containers for the contents of the tab. As we hover around them, the content the way we want them to appear. So to do that, we are going to also introduce another container here. I'll call it div. Okay, and we already have ID for this, and the ID is home, of course. For the first container, we have home, and we have a class for the tab content, so we're going to call that tab content. Okay, I'm going to close this here. Div, close this here. Okay, all right, so next we are going to bring in a header here, a head tag, a header h3 tag, okay, for the content, and I'm going to call this already is home. All right, and the content after this, I would want, of course, it's giving us the size of this. Okay, we want the size of this text be h3, can be h2, depending on what you want to achieve. Okay, so can go ahead and introduce the paragraph tag, and I'm going to call this, I'll say welcome to MJ Tech Academy. Okay, and we have this closed here, so I'll quickly copy this and repeat same for other tabs. Okay, so I'm going to paste it here, and quickly I would change this ID to about, also change this to about. Okay, and paragraph content of this paragraph will also change. Okay, and I'll say we teach tech. Can also go ahead and paste for the last tab, and we could call it contacts. The ID is contact. Change this to contact. Okay, and for the contact, the paragraph, I'm going to put down this email address, MJ Tech Academy. Okay, at gmail.com. Okay, now that we have done that, we have this container closed here already. So next we're going to do this. So we're going to call the class clearfix. Okay, calling it, okay, div class clearfix, which we have already created above. Okay, it allows us to clear the contents of the tab once we are done hovering over it. Okay, so we are done with creating contents of the tab, so we can now go ahead and create our script. We're going to create our script, okay, for a bit of JavaScript now. Okay, for the looping function, we'll create a loop function that will allow this all these to take effect on and off as we hover around the tab. So to do that quickly, we are going to introduce this. We'll say script. Okay, so I'm going to call a function. Open name. Okay, event. Say city name. Okay, we can okay, say city name. So I'm going to now define variables, or define our variables. I have tab content, and also have finally tab links. Okay, next I'm going to say tab content is equal to document dot get element by class name. Okay, by class name, and I'm going to, the class name here is tab content, so I'm going to say tab content in a bracket. Tab content, remember we defined this already as a CSS class. So I'm going to now create a loop statement. We're going to say for I equals 0, I less than, okay, tab content dot length, okay, increment I plus plus, okay, we'll create an array here. I'll say tab content I, okay, I'll say dot style dot display is equal none. Okay, so this command hides the content. Okay, hides the content. I've said none. So next I'm also going to do for the tab links. So to do that quickly, I'm going to say tab links equal to document dot get element, okay, get element by class name, okay, we're calling the class tab links, okay, tab links. Do this and create a loop statement for this. I'll say for I equal 0, initializing I to 0, say I less than tab links dot length. Okay, so I'm going to increment I plus plus. So what happens next? Create this. So we're going to say we'll create an array tab links I, okay, dot class name equal to tab links I, okay, dot class name dot replace. So replace, okay, I'm going to replace, making it active. Okay, and we are done with this. So next I'm going to do this. I will say document dot get element by ID this time around. Okay, I use city name here, remember. Okay, I can decide to change this to tag name. Okay, so I'm getting element by ID. The ID we are calling is tag name. Okay, I'll call it tag name dot style dot display equal to, okay, displaying block, and do this, and I'll say event dot current target dot, okay, class name, okay, plus or equal active. So these commands here allow us to the hover effect to take place, and all replacement policies also are also in place. So as we hover around the tabs, we have the contents of the tabs appearing and disappearing simultaneously, just as we hover around these tabs, and we have defined them. Okay, and we have the tab links, okay, and the tab content, the links and the content. Okay, so now that we are done with this, also have closed our scripting. The script is closed at this point, closed, the body is closed, and next we're going to close HTML tag. Okay, also close the HTML tag. So quickly we're going to, let's go through this, okay, to be sure we have our syntax is right. Okay, so you can create the design using your variables and also your content, defining them appropriately. Okay, we are done here. I think we are okay. Here we are good. Okay, so I'll go ahead and save this, save all. We'll move to the desktop. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, you can see that the color here is not changing. We need to go back to our code and see what really happened. Okay, okay, you can see that here the tag style, the color active. Okay, now this is it. You're supposed to have this after the double quote, so I'm going to do that here. Okay, now we can save again, save all, go back. Okay, going back to the desktop and open up again. Okay, now it's fine. You hover, you have the color changes once a particular button is or tab is active, and we have the content displaying here. Okay, we have home, we have about, and we have the content display, we have contact, we have the content displayed. Okay, so guys, you can also go ahead and create yours, changing the content and checking to see that all is fine.